In this video, we're going to explore how the ancient philosophy of Stoicism can help us handle stress and stay calm in today's hectic world. We all experience stress, whether it's from work, personal life, or the constant rush of modern living. But the good news is that Stoicism offers us powerful tools to manage these feelings and regain our composure. We'll cover 7 key Stoic principles that can help you build resilience and peace of mind. These are practical techniques that can be applied immediately to make stress more manageable. From focusing on what you can control to practicing mental detachment, Stoics have developed methods for navigating life's challenges with grace and clarity. If you've ever found yourself feeling overwhelmed, unsure how to break free from the cycle of stress, this video will provide the tools you need. The Stoics believed that our peace of mind is not determined by external events, but by how we choose to respond to them. With these strategies, you can train your mind to approach stress more effectively and maintain calm in any situation. Be sure to watch until the end because the final tip is especially powerful and can make a huge difference in how you deal with stress in the long term. You won't want to miss it. First way, focus on what you can control. In ancient Aztec culture, there was a legendary warrior named Tlacoyocatl, who had fought many battles and earned great respect among his people. He was known for his courage, wisdom, and unmatched skill in combat. However, there was a particular moment that tested his resolve in ways that went beyond physical prowess. One day, Tlacoyocatl was called to defend his city, which was under threat from a neighboring tribe. The warlord leading the opposing forces was renowned for his ruthless tactics, and the situation seemed dire. As the battle loomed, the warriors of the city, including Tlacoyocatl, gathered to prepare. Despite the heavy presence of fear among the troops, Tlacoyocatl remained calm. He knew that their success or failure would not only depend on the outcome of the battle but on how they approached it mentally. On the eve of the fight, Tlacoyocatl sat alone by a quiet river, reflecting on the circumstances. He knew that many things were beyond his control. He couldn't control the number of enemies, the weather, or the decisions of his commanders. What he could control, however, was his own response, his actions on the battlefield, his mindset, and his determination to protect his people. He recalled the teachings of the great Aztec philosopher and priest, Tezcatlipoca, who had often spoken of the importance of focusing on one's own strength. The gods may control the wind, the stars, and the flow of rivers, but the heart of the warrior must remain his own domain, Tezcatlipoca would say. This wisdom resonated deeply with Tlacoyocatl. In the midst of battle the next day, Tlacoyocatl applied this teaching. Instead of focusing on the overwhelming numbers of the enemy or worrying about things that were beyond his control, he focused entirely on what he could do, protecting his comrades, strategizing in the moment, and maintaining his focus. His sword became an extension of his will, and his mind remained sharp despite the chaos surrounding him. When the battle finally ended, the defending forces emerged victorious. While many factors had contributed to their success, Tlacoyocatl knew that one of the most important was his ability to direct his energy solely toward what he could control. In this way, he had stayed calm, focused, and resilient in the face of overwhelming odds. He had not let fear, doubt, or external circumstances dictate his actions. His story became a symbol of Stoic wisdom in Aztec culture, a reminder that, in times of uncertainty and chaos, we have the power to choose where we place our energy. Like Tlacoyocatl, we cannot control the world around us, but we can always control our own reactions, our focus, and our efforts. This story highlights the Stoic lesson that by concentrating only on what we can control, we can find peace, clarity, and resilience, no matter the external challenges we face. Second way, use negative visualization to manage fear. Negative visualization, a core practice of Stoicism, involves mentally rehearsing the worst-case scenarios to reduce the fear and anxiety that often accompany uncertainty. While it may seem strange to invite negative thoughts, this technique, when used properly, serves as a powerful tool for emotional resilience. By imagining the worst that could happen, we prepare ourselves mentally and emotionally so that when challenges arise, we are not overwhelmed by fear or surprise. Think of this technique as a mental workout, similar to how an athlete trains before a major competition. If a runner prepares for a race, they might practice running in unfavorable weather, on rough terrain, or with physical exhaustion. By preparing for the most difficult conditions, they ensure that when the race actually happens, they can handle it with strength and composure. Likewise, when we use negative visualization, we strengthen our minds, so that when life throws unexpected obstacles our way, we face them with calm and clarity. One of the most significant benefits of this practice is its ability to desensitize us to fear. When we constantly worry about what could go wrong, our anxiety grows. We fear things that have not yet happened, imagining worst-case scenarios that may never come to pass. Negative visualization, however, invites us to confront those fears directly. We imagine the worst possible outcome, whether it's losing a job, facing a personal failure, or enduring a difficult relationship, and then calmly reflect on how we would handle it. By visualizing ourselves managing these situations with grace, we shift from being paralyzed by fear to feeling prepared to face the challenge head-on. For example, imagine you're about to give a public presentation. You might worry about making a mistake, forgetting your words, or embarrassing yourself. By practicing negative visualization, you mentally run through the scenario where everything goes wrong. You forget your speech, people laugh, or you lose your composure. But in this exercise, you also rehearse how you would respond. Perhaps you smile, gather your thoughts, and keep moving forward with confidence. By imagining and accepting the worst, you've already reduced the emotional impact of the situation. Even if something goes wrong in reality, you won't be as rattled because your mind has already adapted to the possibility. Another important aspect of this practice is that it helps us realize that we can endure more than we think. Life often presents us with situations that feel like insurmountable obstacles, yet when we take the time to reflect on them, we often realize that we are capable of handling much more than we initially thought. Negative visualization trains us to see challenges not as insurmountable barriers but as opportunities for growth and learning. It helps us recognize that our greatest fears are often not as devastating as we imagine. Additionally, negative visualization can help us cultivate gratitude. When we vividly imagine the worst happening, we gain a new appreciation for the present moment and the things we take for granted. For instance, by mentally rehearsing the loss of a loved one, we may come to cherish our time with them more deeply, fully appreciating each moment we have. It's not about being morbid, it's about cultivating a deeper sense of mindfulness and gratitude for what we have right now. The key to practicing negative visualization effectively is balance. The goal is not to dwell on negative thoughts, but to use them to strengthen our mental fortitude. When we face life's inevitable uncertainties, we can do so with a sense of calm and preparedness, knowing that we've already imagined and accepted the worst. This practice allows us to reduce the power of fear over our lives, turning uncertainty into a source of strength. It enables us to face life's challenges with confidence, knowing that we are equipped to handle whatever comes our way. Third way, cultivate mindfulness to stay present. In ancient Assyria, a kingdom known for its military prowess and vast territories, King Tiglath-Pileser III faced numerous challenges throughout his reign. He was a ruler who understood the value of strategic thinking and clarity, especially during times of crisis. His ability to stay calm amidst chaos and make well-considered decisions was a key reason behind his success in both warfare and governance. One such moment occurred during a campaign to defend Assyria's borders from a large invading force. The empire's military was formidable, but the invaders were many, and there were significant threats from other rival factions as well. As the news of the advancing army reached Tiglath-Pileser, his advisors and generals urged him to make quick decisions. The pressure was immense. Soldiers were already assembling, and the fate of the kingdom seemed to hang in the balance. However, instead of reacting with haste, the king decided to retreat into a private chamber. While his army waited in preparation, Tiglath-Pileser sat in silence, focused entirely on the present moment. Rather than rushing to formulate a plan in response to the rising anxiety, he practiced deep reflection. It wasn't the immediate threat that occupied his mind, but rather the calm of being fully aware of his own thoughts and emotions. This method of mindfulness, which might seem simple, was a practice deeply rooted in ancient traditions. Tiglath-Pileser understood the importance of not letting emotions like fear or anxiety cloud his judgment. He knew that the more he focused on his thoughts in the present moment, the clearer his decisions would become. As he sat in contemplation, the king reminded himself that he could only control certain aspects of the situation: his response, his strategy, and the morale of his people. He could not control the invading army's numbers, nor the unpredictable nature of war. By acknowledging this, Tiglath-Pileser removed the weight of uncertainty and fear from his mind. This realization gave him the mental clarity he needed to move forward decisively. After his period of mindful reflection, Tiglath-Pileser devised a brilliant plan. Rather than face the enemy head-on, which would have been a costly battle, he decided to lead a strategic retreat, drawing the enemy toward a location where his forces could set a more advantageous trap. The tactic relied on patience and control of the timing, which allowed his troops to gain the upper hand while minimizing casualties. The outcome was a resounding success. Not only did Tiglath-Pileser's forces defeat the invaders, but his ability to stay present and clear-minded also strengthened the morale of his soldiers. They respected his ability to lead under pressure, and his calmness under fire became legendary. His ability to manage stress through mindful awareness allowed him to avoid making rash decisions, and instead, he used his intellect and strategic thinking to outmaneuver a much larger force. The story of King Tiglath-Pileser III reflects the ancient practice of mindfulness, which has been passed down through many cultures, including the Stoic tradition. In times of great stress, the ability to stay grounded in the present moment allows individuals to make better decisions and avoid being overwhelmed by fear or anxiety. Just as the Assyrian king did, we too can cultivate mindfulness by focusing on our thoughts, observing them without judgment, and responding to challenges with calm and clarity. By following this practice, we can navigate our own stress-filled moments with a clearer mind, making more thoughtful and effective decisions in our personal and professional lives. Whether in the face of war or everyday challenges, mindfulness can help us stay present, manage our emotions, and reduce stress. Fourth way, reframe stressful situations as opportunities. Imagine you are walking through a dense forest, where the path ahead is unclear, and the shadows cast by the trees make it difficult to see. Every step feels uncertain, and every sound echoes through the thick woods, stirring up feelings of discomfort. This forest represents the challenges and stress that come our way. The trees are obstacles, and the darkness is the weight of our fears and doubts. Now, imagine that instead of seeing the forest as something to avoid, you shift your perspective. Rather than fearing the unknown or feeling lost, you start seeing each tree as a stepping stone, each obstacle as an opportunity to navigate the path with greater wisdom and courage. Each challenge presents a chance to learn, adapt, and grow stronger. This is exactly the Stoic approach to stress and adversity. When the ancient Stoics faced difficulties, they did not see them as barriers, but as opportunities for personal growth. They understood that our responses to challenges define who we are. Stress, in this context, is not something to fear, it is something to embrace. By reframing these situations, we turn them into chances to develop resilience, wisdom, and strength. Take the example of the famous Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. When he faced the pressures of ruling a vast empire, dealing with war, and managing personal hardships, he reframed each challenge as an opportunity to practice virtue. Instead of feeling defeated or overwhelmed, he asked himself, "What can I learn from this, and how can I grow through this situation?" This perspective allowed Marcus to maintain his composure, making decisions based on reason and virtue, not emotion. Stress, for him, became a tool for growth, and each difficulty became a chance to refine his character. Now, reflect for a moment. Think of a recent stressful situation in your own life. How did you approach it? Did you see it as a problem or as an opportunity for growth? The next time you face a challenge, remember the metaphor of walking through the forest. How can you transform your perspective to turn obstacles into stepping stones? This Stoic practice of reframing allows us to shift our focus from fear and anxiety to growth and possibility. When we change the way we view challenges, we diminish their emotional weight, turning them from threats into opportunities. By embracing adversity in this way, we unlock our true potential and continue our journey toward becoming better versions of ourselves. Fifth way, see adversity as a teacher. Imagine you're standing before a massive boulder blocking your path. It seems impenetrable, a symbol of everything that stands between you and your goal. The natural reaction may be to feel frustrated, defeated, or angry. But what if, instead of seeing the boulder as an obstacle, you began to see it as a teacher? The Stoics believed that adversity, far from being something to avoid, is a powerful teacher, one that can shape you into a stronger and wiser individual. This concept is embodied in the Stoic mindset of embracing hardship rather than resisting it. Consider the process of forging a sword. A blacksmith takes raw iron and subjects it to intense heat, followed by the pressure of a hammer, repeatedly striking it, reshaping it until it becomes a tool of great strength. Without the heat and pressure, the iron would remain malleable and weak. Similarly, adversity, though painful at times, can forge you into something more resilient and capable. Epictetus, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This highlights a key Stoic belief. The external world may present challenges, but we have the power to decide how we respond. Stressful situations, though difficult in the moment, can serve as opportunities to strengthen our mental and emotional resilience. By choosing to see adversity as a chance for growth, we are less likely to be overwhelmed by it. Instead, we begin to learn from it, just as the blacksmith learns from each strike of the hammer, refining the blade with every blow. Let's take a moment to reflect. Think about a time when you faced a difficult challenge in your life. Perhaps it was a personal setback, a job loss, or an unexpected crisis. What was your initial reaction? Did you feel defeated, or did you recognize the potential for growth in that situation? Imagine if you had approached that challenge with the mindset of a Stoic. Instead of seeing it as a setback, you might have asked yourself, "What is this experience teaching me? What strength can I gain from this?" This shift in perspective transforms adversity from a threat into a source of personal development. It's like taking a seemingly immovable boulder and seeing it not as a roadblock, but as a stepping stone, an opportunity to learn, adapt, and become more resilient. The ancient Stoics practiced this mindset daily. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, often reflected on the idea that difficulties were necessary for growth. In his Meditations he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This quote speaks directly to the idea that obstacles and challenges are not barriers, they are pathways to personal evolution. Each hardship you face is an opportunity to sharpen your character, strengthen your resolve, and deepen your wisdom. This approach doesn't deny the reality of pain or hardship. Stoicism doesn't suggest that you should simply endure difficulties without feeling their weight. Instead, it invites you to look deeper, asking yourself what you can learn from these experiences. It encourages you to embrace adversity as part of life's process of transformation. The next time you encounter a difficult situation, remind yourself, adversity is a teacher. It may feel uncomfortable, but like the blacksmith's hammer, it is shaping you. Each challenge is an opportunity to learn, grow, and become stronger. The Stoic practice of seeing adversity as a source of wisdom helps turn every difficulty into a stepping stone on your journey toward becoming a more resilient and empowered individual. Sixth way, detach from the need for external validation. In the ancient city of Carthage, one of the greatest trading powers of the Mediterranean, lived a general named Hanno. Carthage was known for its wealth, military might, and fierce competition with Rome. As a leader in such a tumultuous environment, Hanno faced immense pressure from both his peers and the citizens of Carthage to secure victory after victory. But despite the weight of expectation, Hanno demonstrated a profound ability to remain calm and focused, untouched by the external validation that often defined the success of others. One of the most telling moments of his career occurred during the Second Punic War, a time when Carthage's fortunes were severely tested. After a major defeat at the Battle of Cannae, Hanno was called to lead a series of military campaigns to restore Carthage's position. In this high-stakes environment, there was a constant barrage of criticism and judgment from the public and his fellow generals. Everyone had an opinion on how he should lead, what alliances he should form, and how he should confront the enemy. Rather than succumbing to the pressures of others' expectations, Hanno followed a practice of detachment that allowed him to remain grounded. He understood that his worth and ability to lead did not depend on external praise or the judgment of others. Instead, Hanno focused on what he could control: his actions, decisions, and the preparation of his troops. He took no solace in public approval and instead relied on his internal compass, his values, his training, and his sense of duty to his people. One particular instance stands out when, during a critical campaign, Hanno ignored the loud clamoring for immediate action and instead decided to wait for the right moment. His advisors and soldiers urged him to strike when the opportunity seemed ripe, but Hanno knew that rash decisions could lead to disastrous consequences. By staying true to his principles and avoiding the distractions of external pressure, Hanno ultimately made the strategic choice that led to a decisive victory. The Stoic practice of detachment from external validation can be seen in Hanno's ability to ignore the noise and judgment around him. Instead of constantly seeking approval from others, he focused on what was within his power to control and allowed the results to speak for themselves. His ability to detach from the need for external validation not only brought him success but also emotional stability in the face of adversity. Like Hanno, we too can learn to detach from the need for constant approval or praise. The Stoics teach us that true emotional stability comes not from how others perceive us, but from how we perceive ourselves. Hanno's story reminds us that by focusing on what we can control, our actions and decisions, and letting go of the need for others' validation, we can find calm and clarity even in the most challenging situations. Seventh way, commit to daily reflection. In the Stoic tradition, daily self-reflection is an essential practice that allows us to assess our thoughts, actions, and emotions. Just as a gardener regularly inspects the soil and plants to ensure they are healthy and thriving, so too must we take time each day to reflect on our own mental and emotional state. This practice not only helps in reducing stress but also fosters deeper self-awareness, enabling us to make better decisions and maintain inner peace. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by stress, only to look back and realize that your emotions were triggered by something that, in hindsight, wasn't as important as you initially thought? This is where daily reflection comes in. It's the Stoic way of creating space between our immediate reactions and our long-term well-being. By pausing each day to reflect on our actions, thoughts, and feelings, we can gain clarity and make more informed choices. The practice of daily self-reflection is like a mirror. It helps us see ourselves clearly, without the distortions of stress or external distractions. The Stoics used this practice to ask themselves crucial questions. What did I do well today? What could I have done better? How did I respond to challenges, and could I have reacted differently? These questions help them refine their character and make progress toward their goals. Let's take a moment to think. When was the last time you sat down and reflected on your day, without judgment, just observation? Have you ever considered how much you could improve your ability to manage stress by simply taking a few minutes to look inward? Consider the story of Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, who made self-reflection a key part of his daily routine. Each day, Marcus would write in his journal, reflecting on his actions, thoughts, and the challenges he faced. His writings, later known as meditations, served as a reminder of his commitment to virtue, self-control, and inner peace. Despite the immense pressures of ruling an empire, Marcus Aurelius found time to reflect on his own character and decisions, making him more resilient in the face of adversity. In our own lives, we too can make daily self-reflection a priority. It doesn't require hours of time, just a few minutes each day to ask ourselves thoughtful questions and observe our internal landscape. When we take the time to assess how we reacted to stress, we create space to change our responses in the future. Think of your mind as a river. Without reflection, the current moves rapidly, and it's hard to see where we are going. But with daily reflection, we pause, allowing the waters to settle and revealing the clarity beneath. This calmness helps us make better decisions and navigate life's challenges more gracefully. So, how can you incorporate daily reflection into your routine? It doesn't have to be complicated. You can end each day by asking yourself, what went well today? What did I learn? How did I respond to stress? And what can I do better tomorrow? This simple practice can be a game changer, helping you not only manage stress but also grow stronger, more mindful, and more at peace. As you move forward, remember, the more you reflect, the more you refine your ability to stay calm and focused. By committing to this practice, you align yourself with the Stoic ideal of continual self-improvement, transforming stress from a source of anxiety into an opportunity for growth and self-mastery. In conclusion, we've explored 7 powerful Stoic techniques for managing stress and finding calm in the midst of life's chaos. By focusing on what we can control, practicing negative visualization, cultivating mindfulness, reframing stressful situations, embracing adversity as a teacher, detaching from external validation, and committing to daily reflection, we've uncovered the keys to maintaining inner peace in an unpredictable world. Remember, these practices are not quick fixes, they are lifelong tools that require consistent effort. By applying them each day, you begin to reshape your response to stress, making calmness a natural part of your being. True inner peace doesn't happen overnight, but with the Stoic mindset, you can gradually build a solid foundation of resilience and tranquility. So, I encourage you to try incorporating these Stoic techniques into your daily routine. Start small, and notice how your thoughts, reactions, and emotions begin to shift. With dedication and persistence, you can transform the way you handle stress, moving from a place of turmoil to one of steady, inner calm. And always remember, Stoic wisdom isn't just about managing stress, it's about living a life of virtue, purpose, and self-mastery. With each practice, you're not only reducing stress but also becoming the best version of yourself. Embrace this journey of continuous growth, and over time, you'll find that inner peace isn't something to chase, it's something you cultivate, moment by moment.